Okay. All right, let's see. You guys might actually, it's a very much a mess in here. It's very messy. They really need to be cleaned. But I have new species in here. I have cross-striped cabbage worm moths, or soon-to-be moths, and they are so cute. Those are the little dark ones that you see there with the orange faces. But what I am making this video about is way in here. You can see, remember Snowflake? She was the snowy colored one of these yellow woolly bears. You see, these are kind of like a pumpkin spice color. In fact, I named one of them pumpkin spice. That one right there on the side, the darkest one. And in here, I haven't seen Snowflake in a while. Snowflake has, and I have my flashlight on so that you guys can see. Do you see that fuzzy mass? She has constructed herself a cocoon. She is up at the top, utilizing the moth house as I expected them to, and I'm so proud. She utilized the top space in the dark to get away from the rest of them and make herself a cocoon. So she's turning into a moth. I'm so excited. I wanted to document that. So excited. I also want to make a video soon about this. This is my idea of what I want to have my moths drink from. Their tongues could fit in these holes, and I filled it with the homemade nectar so that I'm gonna see it worked overnight. No bad things happened. I wanted something that I can fill with nectar that was small, so I can fit it in here. I have 2 of these, and the holes are big enough that their tongues can go through, the moth tongues, the proboscis, and small enough that the caterpillars that are in the nursery can't fit through them and drown. So far, there has not been any casualties with that. They have left that alone for the most part, and I'm going to see how it works. So that was super interesting. It's a trial and error. I'm going to have to figure out what works best. I have a couple options that I've thought through and think they're great ideas. So we'll see how it works. Anyways, Snowflake in there. Occasionally there will be 1 or 2 worms that go in there, but I don't think they're going to mess with her. Snowflake in there has made a little cocoon. Let me zoom in, actually. Let me get way right up to that hole. Show you guys. You can see all that hair in there? She made a little cocoon. She's making her pupa inside that. I have one of the pupas that isn't in a cocoon in a separate jar with Ula, because those need to be undisturbed and healthy and gonna be hatching. So I have them away from here so that there is no chance that any of these guys are gonna be chewing on the case, trying to distract her, do all these things. So I have Sassy and Ula as chrysalises in a separate jar. And I also have in separate jars baby worms that will not be able to be found in here. I am only so far putting caterpillars in here that are big enough for me to pick up. Of course, there are some exceptions. That one is very small, but these worms don't get very big. So that is the smallest I really feel very comfortable in here. Other than that, you can see basically the size range. I will put my hand down here and show you. That is how big they are. They're various sizes, but they seem to be coexisting. I have 3 different species in here. I'm testing it out. They seem to be coexisting very well. They don't really bother each other. Occasionally, the hornworms will pick little fights, but that's normal. Everything else, they seem very fine. See? Coexisting. Sorry, my knee was in the way. Coexistence. Yep, Scarlet's being very good. Scarlet is a very good sport. Of course, she gets kind of irritated here and there when the little ones crawl all over her, but she wiggles a little bit. They leave her alone. They climb on their way. See little cabbage worms kind of like, hey, what's up, Scarlet? Scarlet's like, get off my lawn. But that will soon to be subsided in just a matter of moments. She doesn't really love that much of company, and I'm about to maybe put her in a new jar so that she has the room to, work on her cycle. I feel like she's about that time that she's going to try and turn into a cocoon. So I want to give her that chance. She is still eating occasionally, so that's what makes me think maybe not yet. I still want to provide her with food because, you know, she's still eating here and there. She has slowed down her eating tremendously. Everything else seems to be working very well. Scarlet, of course, she worries me a little bit sometimes, but that's to come with all creatures. Here you go, Scarlet. Are they bothering you? Whenever I see them kind of bothering her, I just scoot her somewhere else. Sometimes she just has little fits here and there. Sometimes she has to make a movement, and sometimes that stresses her out a little bit, it seems. But, you know, she's fine. Everyone else is also pretty good. The cabbage worms, they like to crawl on the sides. They're the type of caterpillar that make that kind of like a spider web string, and they kind of like hang down with it sometimes. Like if you like try and take them off your hands, they'll kind of attach with a little web. It's annoying, but it's kind of cute. I've never really dealt with that too often, but they're that way, and I have to deal with that. They haven't made any like spider webby things. They just kind of like hang out at the top of the jar here and there. They like to hang out on the sides. It's unique. I can find them. I know where to spot them now. I know what they like to hang out. No, he's not on the cloth outside. He's on the side of the container. But they're cute. I want to see how many different types of little moths I can raise. See what the generations do. Happy things. See, Scarlet's all better now. Sometimes she just gets annoyed by them. So I am soon going to be trying to give her her own little space because she's getting about that time that she's ready. And yeah, I give them a variety of food. I give them some different fruits, some different organic lettuces, some different spinach. I put that in a pile on the bottom because there are still some worms that are very small, do not know where to find the food in the big plate. Well, it's not a big plate. These are tiny, like, doll dishes, almost. Like, they're so tiny, I thought they were cute. You know that kind of thing. I put a pile down there so that they can find it, and I also put some baby food in a button. It is specifically, I do not use just any baby food. I have to make sure it's organic. I have to make sure it is made non-GMO. Very healthy stuff. I would not feed them something weird, like a mixture of apple, cinnamon, nutmeg. No spices, and just very plain. And I make sure I look at the ingredients. It's organic. There is no added lemon juice because I've heard that, and I have a little bit of experience with mealworms. Citrus does not really go well with insects. The insects that I have had experience with, they do not like that from my experience. So I try to stay away from citrusy things, no citric acid, no, like, preservative, additive, weird stuff that might hurt them, I don't know. So I try to go as natural as I can find it. It's a good wet food that they can hydrate with as well as eat, and it is stock full of vitamins. So I found a very simple carrot and a very simple green bean, and they love that. But I also make sure to give them stuff that they are used to, aka leaves, leafy greens. So far it's working very well. My last batch of hornworms, you can see the blue ones, those are the hornworms. The small ones are the ones that died last time. They were not healthy. They were not very good. They were very dehydrated and strangling on their own molted skins that they could only, like, push down halfway through their body. A good, like, environment that gives them the kind of moisture they need, I have found does help me. And with the wet foods, I notice in their pellets, I'm using a very much more nicer word for all those specks you see down there. They are not dry and hard like my last batch. They are, not to be gross, but they are wetter. They are much wetter. And I feel like they are becoming so much more healthier from this food choice. I will have to see in the long run how it works. but I'm trying very hard to figure out how my little caterpillars here get the best life, the best health that they can. And I also offer them straight water, but I also put the little wooden stools in there, spools, so that in case anybody gets stuck in the water, they can maybe have a better chance of climbing out. I have had only one worm, and it was one of the cabbage moths. I've only had one of them. You know, you walk up to a lake, if they walk up to this lake, this would be like a lake to them. I tell them, you're supposed to just walk up and sip the water, because that's their water dish. Not go up to it, take a dive, and then can't come back out of it. So I had to pull only one out of there ever. Very small one, by the way. So there's this. I put those in, and it still offers them a little bit of water that they need. I actually find them going up and eating water. You might think, oh wow, the food has enough moisture. I see them taking turns and drinking water straight from this, but I make sure it's so shallow that there is a low chance that anybody could get hurt in it. But of course, there's always accidents, and I need to be careful about that. We all need to be careful. I can't guarantee that this will always save them, but I feel like that putting the little spools in there gives a better chance of survival in case any of them make poor decisions. But I do watch this. I monitor everything, make sure what does and doesn't work well. I see what happens. See, they like to fight a little bit. They argue a little bit. You can see it's very normal. They annoy each other a little. They do annoy each other. They stopped now, but sometimes they walk on each other and they fling back and say, no, get off. And they get into little quarrels like this, look. Yeah, little quarrels. It's very normal. That's very normal, it seems. Little quarrels like that. They were doing that all morning the other day during breakfast. They would only fight. And oh no, what are you? Oh, it's one of the cabbage ones. Is he gonna drink? Or is he gonna go for a swim? Oh, he's drinking. All right, be careful, buddy. Careful, buddy. This is where I see what happens. This is where I see if they're smart. See, they walk around the edge. Very smart, very smart, very smart. Now I'm going to watch this guy. He's doing exactly what the hornworm's doing. Very good. He's not going straight in for a dive. I feel like they are learning. And after saving one, I have not seen any more issues with any kind of liquids in here. So I can't guarantee anything will forever protect them or keep any of them from ever possibly drowning in that. But I do my best to make sure that it is very shallow and there are things that they can walk on in it instead of just being stuck in the middle of a pool that there's no end to. But it seems like they are fine right now. It seems like they're fine. Like, again, I'm monitoring it. I see what does and doesn't work, and I remove what doesn't work, and I fix that. And I find new things that do work really well. So, there's my update on the Moth Nursery. Have a great day, everybody, and stay safe, stay happy, all that great stuff, and I'll see you soon.